Hey everyone, Wydug here again, this time with Game 3 of a Best of 3 series from the WCS Season 2 European Edition. And this time on Whirlwind, we've got spawning in the bottom right as the red Protoss. Representing NRSoft, we've got Welmu. And Welmu was able to win a quick-paced game, and a very fast game, just 9 minutes in total. Previously, to tie up the series 1-1 against his opponent, spawning in the top right as the Blue Terran. Representing Mouse Sports, we've got Lucifron. So we'll have to see once again here on Whirlwind if Lucifron's going to be opening up with his very standard barracks refinery opening to get that fast Reaper out. Now, Welmu was able to win Game 2 with a very, very strange sort of proxy built. He actually went for an immortal push. He actually built the robotics facility very close to Lucifron's base. Lucifron did some scouting and detected that something was coming, but he wasn't sure what. He only had one bunker in position as well as one tank, and it just wasn't able to deflect the attack, and so a whole bunch of Immortals and Stalkers came in from Welmu and was able to win the game swiftly. We'll have to see again. You know, sometimes after you do a proxy attack, your opponent generally is not going to be expecting another one. But Lucifron's going to change things up. This is the first time in a while that he's actually going to be opening up with a 14cc on the low ground. Now, this sort of build is extremely risky, but can also be extremely rewarding. But I don't know. It's, like I said, it's extremely risky. For a few reasons, you might want to employ it here on Whirlwind. Whirlwind is a 4-player map, so if Welmu wants to scout, there is a high chance that he wouldn't scout Lucifron doing this with that probe. But with that said, if Welmu does send a probe out, and that probe is able to spot this very quickly, that's going to put Lucifron in a difficult position, not only because it's been scouted out so early, but because that SCV would probably be destroyed, or Lucifron would have to pull additional SCVs off that line. So, if you're going to go for CC first, I'm a big proponent of putting it on the high ground. But looks like Lucifron is going to be able to get away with this, as the Cybernetics core has just been warped in for Welmu. He is building a mothership core. We'll have to see what building he's going for next. Now, Welmu is saving up some resources, so I think he's going to be putting down a Nexus here at his natural. So it looks like Lucifron's build order is going to be able to, he's going to be able to get away with it. Now, he doesn't have a refinery up and running for himself, so that could be a problem in regards for later. He's just building a whole bunch of barracks. This is now his third barracks at the 4-minute and 15-second mark. So this is very, very interesting by Lucifron. Oh, there we go. We have 2 refineries coming up now. Because without gas, you can't build reactors or tech labs. So these barracks, their strength is basically halved in a lot of ways, especially since most barracks have reactors attached to them, so you can keep pumping out a lot of those Marines. Now, the supplies are fairly even right now, and once that gas gets going, Lucifron should be able to put a lot of add-ons on these buildings. And I don't have to remind players, but I will say it just in case, that Marines in the early going are very squishy without combat shields and stim, so you kind of want to get those up and running as soon as possible. Now, Welmu's Nexus at his natural is almost finished, and at the same time, his robotics facility, is almost warped in as well. So are we going to see another push with some Immortals, or maybe some Warp Prism action? I'm not sure, but usually he likes to build Observers first, find out what's going on in his opponent's base. There we go. The Observer is going to be warping in right now. Get some scouting information. It's always helpful. We do have the Tech Lab, and it is researching Stimpack immediately. And also with 1 engineering bay, we're going to have +1 weapons on the way. So it looks like generally when Terran players go for 1 engineering bay, generally they're going to be going for some sort of timing attack. If you build 2 engineering bays, it might be more conducive for a longer game sort of strategy. But if you're going for +1 attacks immediately, you want to capitalize on that stim power because there's extra DPS available especially with that +1 attack. You can take a bigger advantage of it when you're firing a lot more bullets in a certain amount of time. So it looks like this might be some sort of timing push with a whole bunch of Marines, and maybe no medevacs at that point in time. Generally, it's going to take some time to build medevacs. And that factory is only half finished here. So Lucifron is being, I think he's going to be the aggressor in this game once again. We have 2 reactors coming online for those barracks. And we only have 2 warp gates. So it doesn't look Welmu's going to be very gateway heavy here. Now the scan does go down from Lucifron, able to see everything that's going on in Welmu's base, sees the robotics base, sees the timing, as well as the forge. And Welmu is going to follow up the scan with a few more gateways. Now, one of the things about gateways is a lot of pro players are saying, you know, gateways are kind of strange because you want to warp them into warp gates, and there's no reason not to. So my idea, and I don't know if someone has come up with this idea before, I haven't heard this idea, but maybe to make, you know, gateways more useful instead of warp gates is that gateways build certain units faster. So, for example, if Zealots, you know, take a minute to build with the warp gate, they don't, but if they did, then maybe they should only take 40 seconds to build from a gateway. So there's some sort of reason to have gateways instead of all warp gates. But it doesn't look like there's going to be implementing anything like that soon, but it would be nice to see, because gateways right now are really stale. You just kind of have a gateway. Once it's warped in, you got to click, I want to transform to a warp gate, and there's no reason not to. So you always end up doing that. It's just extra clicking. It's not exciting, and it is stale in my opinion. But as I'm saying that, it looks like Lucifron is moving across the map. He's got a 17 supply advantage, and he does have 1 lone medevac on the way. +1 weapons is finished. He is getting the +1 armor upgrade as well. But unbeknownst to him, Welmu already has +1 armor upgrades. And so that's going to nullify that +1 weapon upgrade. Now, Welmu is able to see the movement of this army as this well-placed observer here. It's very nice, just rotating in the sky. It's pretty good animation. I really like that. And it looks like Lucifron is going to be dropping, with 2 medevacs. Unfortunately, Welmu is able to spot this immediately. The Colossi are here in position, going to scare away these 2 medevacs. At the same time, this 3rd contingent is going to try and move closer to that ramp, to the natural. But it's going to be scared away by those gateway reinforcements. The scan does go down, able to see the size of that army from Welmu. So Lucifron is going to back off. At the same time, he is establishing his 3rd base. And if he can get this up and running for a while and keep Welmu on 2 bases, Lucifron should be in a very good position. But he is behind in upgrades currently, as Welmu has 1-1. And Lucifron only has 1-0 currently. Now, armor upgrades will be finished for Lucifron very quickly here. And it looks like Welmu he's no longer in continuing forge upgrades. So, both players will have 1-1 very soon. So, no upgrade advantage for either player. Now, Lucifron is going to send out a scouting marine with Stim, trying to see if there is a nexus here. There is not one, but at the same time, while he's moving out, Welmu is moving across the middle of the map. A scan does go down, able to see the movement of this army, and now Lucifron is backing up. Looks like Welmu is going to be the aggressor in this situation, and all the SCVs are transferring from that new 3rd base. I'm not even sure how many minerals they were able to mine, focusing down on that empty bunker, and now the force fields are going down. The Stalkers are moving ahead. It looks like the Marines or Marauders are focusing down on those Stalkers. There are 4 Vikings focusing down on the 3 Colossi in the back, but half the Viking force is destroyed, and the Stalkers are wreaking so much damage. 1 Colossi does get destroyed, but there are still 2 more, and they're basically virtually unscathed. The Marines and Marauders are not able to survive all this Colossi and Stalker fire. The Stalkers are just having a field day, and more Stalkers are being warped in just behind, doing significant damage. We do have a small drop at the main base of Welmu, just 4 Marines, able to wipe up a lot of these probes. But at the same time, the natural of Lucifron, it has already been lifted. The SCVs are skittering away, and now the production area of Lucifron is under heavy attack. The Vikings are rushing out, trying to deal with the Colossi. Unfortunately, none of the Vikings are going to survive. There we go, the last Viking is destroyed, and the Colossi are still around. So Lucifron is going to have to tap out. So very, very interesting. Welmu able to put a well-placed timing attack with the Colossi, and there weren't that many Vikings for Lucifron, and because there weren't that many Vikings, wasn't able to deal with those Colossi. So great game by both players. Good job to Welmu winning the series 2-1, and I hope to see you guys next time.